So today I'm going to be showing you this pipe cleaner rose for Valentine's Day or for all year. I leave mine up all year. This one looks a little bit beat up because of moving, but it's not going. Yours won't look like this if you keep it in a vase or something. I'm going to show you how to make a brand new one. Also, I got my new tripod. You will need 2 pipe cleaners in your stem color, 4 pipe cleaners in your rose color or colors, and 1 optional sparkler pipe cleaner in any color. For this video I would be making a plain red one, but if you would like to add that little bit of sparkler in it, it looks really nice. You can choose to subtract one of the plain pipe cleaners and add in the sparkler one, or just add in the sparkler one. It's completely up to you and what you prefer. To start, you're going to take your 4 rose color pipe cleaners and lay them down as straight as possible. I know it's pipe cleaners, it's easier said than done if these aren't coming fresh out of their package. When they're fresh out of the package, they're a little bit easier to handle, but when you have them stored, they can be a pain in the butt to get straight. But you're just going to try to get them as straight as possible and all the tips lined up. So now what I do is I find the middle by just bending the plier. I don't crease it yet. I just bend it and find the middle and then let go. So while holding the middle, you're going to take one of your stem color pipe cleaners and lay it down under it. Now I'm holding all of this. You might find it easier to lay it on the table. I find it a little bit easier to hold it so I can manipulate where the pipe cleaners go. So notice how I have them. I made sure that they were laid down evenly, not on top of each other, at least where the stem goes, or this green piece. This won't be the direct stem. But I'm just twisting it around a little bit, and then I'm going to twist it down at the bottom. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for now. You'll notice that there's a lot left over and it doesn't look like a stem yet. Just bear with me and trust me. So your middle should be directly on each side of their green or your stem color. Should be mostly flat and neat and not overlapping. Now that won't be your case on your ends, of course. So if you see the tail and the face coming in, like I said in the last video, I'm not trying to get attention for having the cat in the video or something. I just feel really bad for locking him up when I do the filming in the dining room here. A lot of my new tutorials will probably be in my craft room where I can lock him out. If it's involving paints or beads, but this is better lighting and it's a neater table, and I'm just doing something neat like pipe cleaner things or like paper crafts or something. This table is a lot neater. My craft room one has paint all over it and glitter and working projects, so yes, I'm not trying to pave my way on YouTube from the cat or anything. He's just nosy. So now you're going to take one end, doesn't matter which one you start at, and you're going to, it hurts for a second at the tip, so be careful, especially if you're younger. But first I bend down all of the tips. They're not completely at the same length because again they're pipe cleaners. They're not the easiest thing to get at the exact same length, but at this point it doesn't completely matter. It even looks a little more natural if they're not at the same length. So I just bend down that sharp piece first, just so I don't get pricked in the rest of the process. And then you're going to roll it pretty tight at first. Now, you're not twisting them together. you're kind of rolling each piece simultaneously. If that made sense, hopefully you can see what I mean, where I'm not twisting these together just yet. I'm just rolling them up at the same speed, and they're getting rolled up at the same length. So you're just going to roll this up, try to take your time so that way it comes out right. I'm going to just keep rolling it up. And you can roll it as tightly or loosely as you want at this point. You can experiment with the different looks. It helps to start off tight though, with the sharp parts there. If you start off tighter there, it will look a bit better. I try to keep it as tight as possible going. Now, I've reached that stem, and I don't care. I'm just rolling it in with me. That will make it look more like a stem coming out from the bottom when we're done. That's why you had to find the midder, so that way it looks a little more placed. Okay, now I got to the end. What I do is now bend down these wires and then kind of wrap them on top here. I'm trying to go slow so that way my camera can focus. Now I'm not tightening them just yet because this is when I'll take the time to bend around the rows here to make sure it looks like a rose. So then when you think that you've fiddled with it enough, it's pipe cleaners, if you've worked with them even a little bit before, you know that it's pretty easy to manipulate, so you can crush it a little bit because it's wire inside to get it to look how you want. When you first roll it up, it's not going to look directly like a rose. So you kind of need to manipulate it a little bit with your fingers. And then what I do when I feel like it's good, I tuck in the wire on the upper layer or even throughout. So I tuck in the ends of the last bit and get that in nicely. I will admit this one does not look as good as this one. Oh, the cat's trying to eat the pipe cleaners in the bag. Hey, don't do that. Sorry, I don't want him to get hurt, so yeah, this one looks a bit more like a rose than this one. I'm going to keep playing with it. I haven't made this in a bit, so I'm a little rusty with it, but I promise that is how I did it. You just have to manipulate it a little bit. So then with the stem, if you notice, your stem would be more on one side than in the middle. So what I do then is I take the shortest piece, or usually I won't have like this longer piece here. Sometimes you will, it depends on how much of a perfectionist you are. But I'll take the smaller piece and gently pull aside that last row before the stem, and you're going to wrap this up in it. So that way the stem comes out more in the middle. So now you have more of an even row of it. And then with this one you can pull it out a little bit and wrap it up like that if you want it to look like a leaf. If you want your stem to have a leaf, you can do that. And then you could choose to leave it like this, but what I did was I folded it in half and then like twisted it so that way it had a little bit of a thicker and more thorny look to the stem. Now if you notice, I did only use one of the stem color for this one. That's because, like I said before, I normally would have had the two coming out a little bit shorter. So then what I did was I would just add this. So you can still do that now if you want, and I'll show you how to do it if you're trying to fit it into a big vase. I just connected it, and then I would have done this before I bent this one up, of course. I would have twisted the two together and then bent them together. But if you want to add it on at the point of where I'm adding it on, you can see the little hole. No, you can't really see it, but you can feel the little hole of where you first bent the stem. So then you're going to put the wire in through there. See, it's poking out. And then once you get that through, you can fold it to your various length decision. You could either, only have it poking through a tiny bit here, just enough to wrap it, and then have all that left over. Or you can make this one in half, so it's not too much longer. It's all up to what you need and what you are using it for. So then I would wrap this up the same way that I wrap this up, and then maybe bend it down even a little bit, just to add a small amount of extension instead of a long one. But it depends. If you're trying to recreate like a huge rose for party decoration or something, then you can very well, you don't need to fold this one too. But I'm just folding this one. So this should be a pretty good length to fit in a small vase if you would like. So yeah, you just gotta make sure. I went a little lazy with this one, but you gotta make sure that all of the sharp points are poked or like bent down, so that way they don't poke you or your guests who are admiring it. But yeah, so like I said, if you follow this and tinker around with it, it will come out a lot more like this one. This one isn't the worst I've ever done, but like I said, I haven't done it in probably about a year, so it's not the best. But yes, if you wanted to do the little bit of sparkler, for this one I did the sparkler pipe cleaner that was a really similar color, but if you want a contrasting color, or if you want like a rainbow rose, I'm not sure how it would be if you took like 6 or 8 pipe cleaners to this. It might look a little too big, but if you want to just stick with the 4 or 5, if you add the sparkler is a lot thinner than the regular one, so it shouldn't affect it too much. I think what I did was did 3 pipe cleaners here and then the sparkler. I substituted the sparkler for one of the pipe cleaners, not just added the sparkler. But I honestly do not remember. But either way, it should work out fine. But yeah, you can, if you want to alternate colors or even do a rainbow one, just make sure that they're flat and in the same order. Almost like if you're making a friendship bracelet. You got to make sure that they're flat and in the same order on both sides. Or you can not, like if you want to twist them up a little bit beforehand, you might get like a random pattern, possibly, but you still have to make sure that they're flat on either side of their stem color when you're rolling it up. Otherwise, it's not gonna have this like a rose effect to it. So I hope you like this, and this is